You're right. Just testing this out as a new way of filming. Managed to get my hands on a tripod, so hopefully it will help. Probably end up shaking the screen a lot, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, just painting up my skeletons right now. You can't see them because they're all spray black. So just using bleached bone for a coat on the bone parts, just for the first layer, first colour. I just like to get that done because it's quite boring. Quite a boring step in the process, and it takes quite a while. So yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of pretty cool videos recently. Dale from Bootleg Painting has done some cool stuff. He's been answering some questions about gaming and stuff like that from Terrainaholic, which has been pretty cool. It's been nice to watch. You know, just interesting stuff about history, different things he's done with games and everything. Like, I mean, one of the questions was about whether he'd ever done role-playing while he was drunk, and he said that not only had he done it drunk, he'd done it on LSD and on other drugs and stuff, so, you know, he's got some funny stories, that guy. I mean, I've done some role-playing and never actually done it under the influence of any drugs or anything, but, hey, it might be worth having a try. I'm not saying that was all Dale's fault if I ever do, but I don't know, sounds like a funny thing to do, possibly. But yeah, so I've been watching them, and also seen Terrainaholic's videos about Steve the Camlepian, which was a really sad situation, really, isn't it? I mean, someone who's done so much for people who like terrain or whatever, and people who just like connecting with other people even on YouTube, because that's what Steve really does, is he actually connects with you on a human level. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's like someone's uncle or something. You know that sort of the friendly old uncle who gets a bit grumpy sometimes. That sort of character. So he's an entertaining guy, and for something so tragic like his mum dying, for something so tragic to happen, and people feeling like, you know, powerless to help, because there's really nothing they can do about it, nothing that anyone could do. And I just think it's a real shame when something like that happens. And yeah, I'd just like to say all my condolences also go out to Steve the Camlepian. I mean, I've spent hours in enjoying myself, watching his videos, and none of that would have been possible without his mum, obviously, because he wouldn't be here, and he wouldn't be the person he is without his mum. So, yeah, thanks, much respect to him for all his videos, and he was really one of the people that started getting me back into Warhammer. I mean, well, he didn't like specifically speak to me and do it, but it was just watching his videos was a little bit of inspiration, because he always seems to be able to do something in his own way. Like, instead of, like a lot of people would say, go out and buy loads of this styrofoam, because it's good stuff to work with, and he says he likes it, but, I mean, he's always got, like, the realistic solution for someone who hasn't got loads of funds to be, for someone who hasn't got loads of cash. He's always got the realistic solution for anyone like that, saying, oh, you can just go and people, I don't know, cabinet makers have got cool stuff, and just gives you loads of ideas for places where you can find stuff to make terrain. I mean, I'm not an expert or really much good at making terrain. Mostly I do figures, but I mean he's done that as well. He's done some of that. So yeah, just a really stand-up guy, you know, really cool bloke. And it's a shame when something like that happens. I don't know. Let's see if I can lighten the mood for perhaps. Another person, Tyranscapes, has some really cool stuff he's got going on. All the modular boards. I mean, that's just a really cool setup. All of his boards that he does, they're all like fully modular in 2-foot slabs that can be arranged any way you want. And I mean, that combined, because I mean that means you can have built-in scenery, which is really quite tough and robust, but you can still sort of move it around the battlefield or change the battlefield to suit what you want to do. So I mean that's a really cool setup. I mean, and combining that, I think he said this in his videos. If you combine that with fully modular terrain, just like groups of hills or trees, then you can have a really totally adaptable battlefield, which doesn't have too many of these bases looking things. Like you see someone will have like a base of trees. I mean, but the way he does it, it means you can have a really cool looking board, but without the need for all the, you know, they're sort of like utilities, you know. And I'm a big fan of that sort of stuff, because I think it really lends itself to this sort of gaming. Because I mean, you can do stuff like card games like Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. I mean, I've never played that, but that sort of stuff, you have cards on the table anyway. You have, I mean, that's not like, it's not the sort of game that you set up solely for the look of the battlefield. You know, it's just like, whereas Warhammer, this sort of stuff, it's something where you really want to sort of take pride in the army you've put on the table, and you want to put it on a table that really looks nice and not looks realistic, but it has a degree of realism where you can sort of immerse yourself in the game instead of being constantly drawn out by having books on the table. I think, yeah, that was another thing that Bootleg Dale was talking about, was he just ended up stopped gaming a lot because you'd go and they'd have like at his club they'd have like 1 or 2 units painted or something, or you'd end up with a few figures painted and the rest is just sprayed black. Which is what I'm trying to avoid doing, is taking sort of a sprayed black army to every fight, to every battle you go to. So yeah, I mean, but I think I've rambled off on a complete tangent, but that's what Tyranscapes, I think, is able to do. Is able to remove all the utility, like the bases that you don't really like. They're just useful, convenient. Is if you have like the 2-foot squares, you can really have a good board, and it just feels nice to play on a surface like that. I mean, like you go to a games workshop and they'll always have really nice tables, and it might not be as adaptable, but they're always really good. So for something like Tyranscapes, just so that you can have it in your own home, you know, you don't want to always have to go out to play a good game. You want to be able to play with your friends on a really nice surface. And I mean, I'm more of a sort of person who would do their own terrain because, you know, money factor, and I know it's nice to make your own stuff, but for people who haven't got time, like people who've got a job, then Tyranscapes seems like a really cool option, and seems really dedicated to making his product fit the clients and really be a good product. I mean, that's like why that sort of realism is why I've been concentrating on doing these movement trays here. Because instead of having these, where it's just like a big thick line around your army, you can have these, the magnetic ones. If I just get this bloody stuff here. Ooh. Oh dear, that's terrible. But yeah. Anyway, you get these. and it means you can hold all your guys very easily. And I've just dropped my necromancer in a glass of water. That's gonna... oh no. Oh dear. There we go. Lovely. A soaked necromancer. I was going to use him in a battle tomorrow. That's awful. Spent ages painting this bastard. Okay, well, that went horribly wrong, but I think the new camera angle works quite well. So, oh shit, I've run over time as well. Now, that was sort of a disaster video, so I'll make another one, I think.